what your client wants from you?
I see the artistry in business.
Will you advise them to start business, working on their own?
I never really liked making somebody else's money.
How do you manage these two things?
Get in there, just start doing it, start learning, and you adapt and you learn by doing.
Live like a CEO.
Welcome everyone to our brand new podcast, Live Like a CEO. And in this podcast, we invite top CEOs and top business leaders to talk about their personal life, their business life, and how one can impact others. So in this podcast, I invited my very good friend, Christopher Vincent. He is the CEO of SageSoul Productions. SageSoul Production is a social event management and event production company, but I will learn more about this from Christopher. Christopher, welcome to this podcast.
Thanks for having me, Raju.
Thank you very much. So in the beginning of this podcast, can you please tell our audience what is the product or service of your business? What do you do? Who is your audience? Who is your customer? Kind of tell us a little bit about your business.
So SageSoul Productions is an unusual kind of business. I'm effectively an event producer, and I focus mostly on organizing community events. I started in the 501c3 atmosphere, and then got into just slowly, it metamorphosized into community events. And that was just, I realized at some point that was the ultimate purpose of all of it. I do communities all over the place. I've just moved to Colorado, and I started doing events here. I will be producing larger events coming January, but for right now, I'm just doing dance events and things of that sort, just kind of building the web of people. And mostly it revolves around the arts. That would be visual arts, music, dance, but it's all in the effort to community building.
That's awesome. So, in my understanding, and I could be wrong, like in my understanding, most of the people who are in art field, they're not a business kind of people. They're not entrepreneur.
No, not at all.
Like, how do you manage these two things?
Well, I see the artistry in business. For me, it's it all. So, for example, the art economy. I did part of my effort was to be an artist representative for certain artists. So not only would I build events and be an event producer, but I would also take on clients that were artists that had no idea how to conduct business and how to negotiate for themselves, and honestly what they were worth. They didn't even understand their place like in the market. And for me, that was very problematic, because I'm always a rising tide raises all ships. And if I can teach the artist where they fit in the market and what they're worth, then they can get that money from, let's say, a venue, and then the venue can prepare respectively to that artist's worth, and then it's just a win-win-win scenario for everybody. So I really like that win-win-win scenario. I believe that it exists, especially in terms of event producer. You have, the business or the venue that's like the facilitator. You have all of the artists or performers or whatever, and then you have the audience. And so you want that triangulation of just everybody walking away and being happy. And I think that exists everywhere, and that's kind of the challenge and the fun of it for me, is to find that balance and figure out how to work that.
That's awesome. And like only a small percentage of US people, they're entrepreneur, they're business people. A vast majority of the people, they're scared of starting their own business, running their business. So what makes you do that? And what do you think in your background that kind of motivated you to start business?
Well, I have a lot of ideas. I feel like I have between 20 and 100 ideas a day, and I need someplace to put those ideas. And I am also not keen on working for anybody. I never really liked making somebody else's money. So if I'm going to have all these ideas, I'm going to, hustle my entire life, which I still, almost 40 years old, I'm still hustling effectively, but it is, everything that I do is different from the last thing, which is the hustle part of it, but it's all serving the same thing. And I just made an umbrella for all of that, for all of the things that I wanted to do that were community based, just made an umbrella, a business. And I do understand people's reluctance to start a business. It's very, just the administrative part of it, the taxes, it's daunting, just keeping track of everything. And I don't have employees. I have temporary employees, so that can add to just the kind of chaos. My books every year are just absolute chaos. So I understand people's reticence, but for me, I was just like, got to do it. Just do it. Just get in there, just start doing it, start learning, and you adapt and you learn by doing. And I would give that same advice to everybody. Just take the
Exactly. So those who are on your shoes, like people like you, will you advise them to start business, working on their own, or you would advise them to stay away from business?
It just depends on what you want to do. For example, if you want to, so I'm also going to start getting into disaster relief. But for me to just as an individual jump into disaster relief is like kind of insane. It would be counterintuitive. But when I am taking Cross classes and I am talking to certain organizations that are like already boots on the ground, and then I could just go in and be a worker and I could learn that way. So I would say to get your chops, to kind of understand what you want to do better, it is better to just get into the already established business before you go off on your own. But ultimately, being on your own and being your own boss should be most everybody's goal if you can handle it.
Yeah. And how do you handle it?
How do I handle it? Like I said, well, I'm a child of chaos, so I'm used to the just constant change, and for me, adaptation is such a big part of the human experience, and nobody is training their adaptation. I mean, whether you're, I think that parents should make sure that their children are highly adaptive. I think that people should throw themselves in uncommon and uncomfortable situations constantly to make them more adaptive. I think that for many years we had to be adaptive, and because of the creature comforts that we now all have, we've lost our adaptivity, and therefore we've lost our growth. So I really enjoy jumping into, just the unknown, and then just trying to adapt and learn by failing, and just failing over and over and over again until you stumble upon something unique or novel.
Awesome. So, as a business person, as an event organizer, event planner, a lot of time you need to know what your audience, what your customer, what your client wants from you. Do you have any very personal, very unusual method of understanding what your clients want from you?
Everybody they want to tell you what they think of something. All right. It's a bad idea I have a lot of new ideas and I have a lot of new projects and new ventures. So I've learned that maybe I shouldn't tell people about those, because people will give you 1,000 reasons why it can't work. And then you make it work. And then they're like, oh, I didn't know that was what you were talking about. So talking to people too prematurely can be very detrimental to your project, to your aim, goal, whatever. But talking to people after the fact is very elucidating. People want to tell you their opinion. People want to share their experience with you, and people want you to grow. I mean, I really think that people just inherently are rooting for other people to grow, and for people that want a certain product. So people want my events. They want my events to be better naturally, right? So they want to tell their experience, and that is, I mean, when you're serving a customer base, there's no better data set than the customer's experience.
Have you ever experienced like they say something in words, but in real life they want something different that they did not tell you? So their desire is different from what they expressed to you?
First of all, I'm a firm believer, just generally, nobody knows what they actually need. Everybody thinks they know what they need, but they're just saying what they want. So for example, I will ask people what will make a good event. What would get them to come to an event? want good art. I want good music. I want just a kind of wild atmosphere or a nice atmosphere that I could bring my family. They'll name all of these things, but I use all of those to get them in the door. But what I actually serve them is community. I actually serve them connection. All my business does is build facilitation for all of these things so they can all mix and intermingle and grow together, and be exposed to one another. And they walk out of there and they feel different, not because of the music that they saw, not because of the art that they saw, none of that. It's because they were making connections. It's like the only thing that really matters is community. And we're losing it by the day, and we're losing that kind of community experience and that connection. So I'm just using all of these things that people say they want to get them into the door, to deliver them what they need.
Okay. And then let's say you tried everything, but your client is still not happy after the event. I'm pretty sure it happened to you before. So what do you do in that situation?
Well, you talk to them, but you got to talk to them with the understanding that some people are just want to be unhappy. There's some people that but those people. So I'm kind of in the business of like a PT Barnum. I mean, there's just something for everybody. There's everybody wants something. So the person that might not want art or music or have something interesting, maybe all they really want is just maybe they just want like a safe place away from home. Maybe things aren't going so great in their own life and they just like need a space where they can sit and just chill out, and they don't want all this hustle and bustle and all that. But you got to talk to them in order to get that understanding. And I don't know, like I said, some people want to be unhappy, but mostly we're all just grown versions of the child within us, and there's something that everybody wants, and you gotta really dig deep with them to figure out what that is, and it's worth it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And so, as you said, we all have like a child inside us. So let me ask you a question about your personal life. So, do you have any personal hobby or anything personal that has nothing to do with business, but that actually help you like become a better business person?
I have 1,000 hobbies. I develop a new hobby every week. I finally just started baking last week. So, for me, there is, and always has been this my entire life, there's this grand puzzle to everything. And conceptually, everything relates to everything else, in terms of like my professional versus my private life, there is no real distinction. I know that doesn't really serve the question or the intent of this podcast, but there really isn't a distinction there. It's all intermingled. I can be working tirelessly trying to figure out this puzzle, and then I have my Archimedes moment, my eureka moment, where I go and I'm just like banging my head against the wall, and I go and I take a bath, and then I realize, oh, buoyancy, or or water displacement, and it's the moment that you relax, the moment that you're in your space and your comfortable space where everything is completely predictable, and then you're just taking a shower, and then you're just like, eureka, that kind of thing. And that can come from a moment of rest or from just the conceptual nature of everything. It's like when I'm sitting there baking and I'm thinking about like events processes, I'm thinking about like sociological concepts while I'm baking. It just all intermingles because it's all kind of the same stuff. That's a really poor answer, but it's the honest one.
No. That actually answers my question. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Christopher. So,
Yeah.
we'll talk more about your work-life integration kind of things. But before that, we are going to take a very short break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Live like a CEO.
Starting a podcast or looking to make yours more powerful? Make sure it's heard, not lost in the noise. Managing recording, editing, publishing, and promotion can be overwhelming. That's where Kulna Technologies' 360-degree podcast service comes in. We handle everything from recording to producing to publishing, so your podcast always sounds top tier. You focus on the message, while we repurpose, stream, and promote it across every platform. Want a true 360-degree podcast service without the tech stress? Launch your podcast with Kulna Tech today and let your voice reach the world.
Live like a CEO.
Welcome back again in our brand new podcast, Live Like a CEO. In this podcast, we'll try to learn the very personal side of CEOs and top business leaders, and also the professional side and how one can impact each other kind of situation. We are talking with Christopher Vincent, a good friend of mine, CEO of SageSoul Productions. He does mostly social events production and event planning. Christopher, there's two concepts. One is called work-life balance, which is kind of separating two things and managing two things separately. Another one is work-life integration or harmony, meaning you kind of mix and match with two things together and one help with each other kind of situation. So in your situation, in your life, would you prefer like a separation or mixing together, and why?
It's integration for me. So as I said, community is my main focus, and I've just moved to Colorado less than 3 months ago, and I had no friends here, and I had to start from scratch, right? So I immediately start trying to teach dance classes. I'm a Latin dance teacher, and I immediately try to find a venue where I can do that, and I secured a venue. And from that, I met several people that I will now hang out with outside of dance classes, right? And then they trying to find different venues that need help for events and, kind of off the wall stuff. And, like I said, the PT Barnum nature of just like bringing people in for, through any number of methods. So in that whole process, I found a lot of like-minded individuals and people that I will, call good friends one day, probably. And those people also will, can and will continue to help me with promotion of the events. And like, for example, with the Latin dance class, they tell their friends, and it just becomes this kind of exponential thing. And then everybody is coming to the dance classes, and you're meeting more people, and it's just exponential growth of community. So there is no separation of work and personal life for me. If I had a family at home, so I live alone, but if I had a family, that might be a separation. But I really like to bring my work home with me. I like to ideate all day, and I like to conversely just like go out into the world and not think about work at all. So I don't have any problem with my work-life balance. I find it's very healthy for me. I don't know if that answered your question, but integration.
It does. Yeah, exactly. Integration, yes. So can you please, I know it may be a little hard for you to say one thing, but that's my question. So can you pick up one personal characteristics or trait or something that directly benefits your business side?
Again, same thing, community, just people. A business is all about people. It's all about community. Businesses need to like stop serving shareholders. There's a big problem in late stage capitalism. It's all like serving shareholders, cutting corners to maximize profits and growth. Those are all like short-term burnout methods. We need to get back to being a country that like builds trust with our customer base, takes care of them, respects them, and treats them like humans instead of cattle, and in the long run, this will vastly benefit any company. And the same thing that's wrong with our society right now is what's wrong with the entire nature of capitalism and businesses, which is there is no focus on integrity whatsoever. So, I mean, if we can just talk to people, if we can understand people, if we can serve people. The classic is like you go to your customer service line and then you're talking to an AI agent that is like not helping you at all, and then you feel like disrespected, you feel just like put out. It's just really unfortunate. If we can just make that turn back to people and just focus on quality of life for people, even if you are Arm& Hammer, or if you're Pfizer or BP or whatever, you can make an honest effort in that direction instead of the performative efforts that we see them doing currently.
Perfect. And if I ask the same question on the opposite side, so did you find any lesson in your business side, in your professional side, that helps in your personal life?
I'm just connecting and facilitating constantly. More people, just more people. It just you're building your village, And in my events production business, I was always facilitating places where people could meet, and then those people would become friends, and I would, know both of them independently, or maybe they're strangers, and then they would come to know me, and then your village just gets a little bit bigger with every event. So it's just facilitating and connecting people.
Perfect.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Last question before we end our session from my end, and after that I will ask you if you have anything to say. So my last question from my part is, if I request you to give 3 advice to young entrepreneurs, what you would give them? 3 advice.
Do not talk about your idea too much before you do your idea. Our brain feels like we manifest that idea, and then all the gusto for that idea is lost. So if you have an idea that you think will work, do your own research. But the more that you talk about that idea to friends and family, the more that idea is just going to dissipate in your mind. So number 1, don't over talk about it. Just do it. Just get out there and do it. Secondly, don't worry about how daunting the process of a business is. Apple started in a garage, right? Don't worry about it. Just start slow. Don't worry about expansion and growth. Just take it slow, be steady until you've got the product that you want, and then try to avoid exponential growth without any foundation, right? So just slow and steady, and you'll figure out the problems as they come. I'll tell you, I've met some CEOs and some business owners I'm shocked that they're in the position that they're in because so you can do it if they can do it, is what I'm saying. Third would be just experiment. We need out of the box ideas. We don't just need products for the future. We need solutions. We are up against a whole lot. And, politically, climate change is coming for all of us, for example. We need real solutions if we're even going to continue to have businesses in the future. So, don't be afraid to just be completely out there with your idea, and don't let anybody tell you that it's not going to work. If you do your own research, you believe in yourself, and you go slow and steady, then you might have something unique that will save the world.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And last question or open thing to you. Do you have any last moment thoughts for our audience?
Come to my events, SageSoul Productions.
All right. I will put your website and other information in the podcast so that people can follow you, your social media and other things. People can follow you, people can go to your events, and they can see you in person.
Thank you, Raju. Yeah, just focus on integrity. Everybody needs to focus on their personal growth and their company's growth, and you should be focused equally on those.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Christopher, for joining this podcast.
Thank you, Raju.
You have a wonderful day.
Live like a CEO.